Welcome to my American History Notes Revised, where I look at things I've already published about American history and posted and want to see if I want to dig deeper into some things or do things different or maybe change some things. So at the Battle of Camden on August 16, 1780, the cab, who I mentioned earlier, was crushed. Congress then returned all control to Washington, who appointed Nathaniel Greene, his quote, right arm, to command in the South. At the Battle of Kings Mountain, American Colonels Isaac Shelby and Richard Campbell demolished British Colonel Patrick Ferguson's force on October 7th. The only participant in this battle on either side who wasn't an American was Colonel Ferguson. Cornwallis abandoned his proposed invasion of North Carolina. Greene led his poorly fed and clothed American soldiers, divided under General Daniel Morgan, against an also mistakenly divided force of Cornwallis under Tarleton and General Leslie at the Battle of the Cowpens on January 17, 1781. Tarleton was defeated by Morgan in one of the most brilliant tactical operations ever fought on American soil, according to military historians. However, on March 15th, Cornwallis defeated Greene in a costly battle for the British at Guilford Courthouse. Cornwallis realized he could not hold Georgia and the Carolinas, so he retreated into Virginia. With many skirmishes and much maneuvering around Virginia, Cornwallis finally ended up in Yorktown on August 4, 1781, and Washington marched south on August the 21st. French Admiral de Grasse moved off Yorktown to blockade the British supply in the Battle of the Capes between September 5th and 9th, 1781. He defeated the British, who sailed away, leaving Cornwallis to his fate. With the arrival of French ships, no hope for resupply, and a determined Washington against him, Cornwallis surrendered on October 19, 1781. Now, Britain sued for peace after Lord North's ministry collapsed on March 20th of 1782. The Treaty of Paris was signed on November 30th, 1782. Sporadic fighting had continued after Cornwallis's surrender, and people kept dying, ships were sunk, and battles fought on April 15th. But on April 15th, 1783, Congress ratified the treaty acknowledging American independence, and the war officially ended, and the Continental Army, never properly supplied, manned, or funded, was disbanded immediately, an American tradition that continued for several wars. Now, if you look forward to the American Civil War, Joe Johnston was a controversial general of the South, the Confederacy, and he was considered. General Grant, President Grant said in his biography that if Johnson had been left in charge another year, the war would have ended. The South would have won. They would have had their independence. And Sherman also was very much complimentary of Johnston's tactical ability and strategic ability. Now, the issue here is Greene surrendered cities, he sacrificed cities, he kept his army in the field, and that's how he beat the British. He wore them down, and they finally, because their supply lines were long, he finally defeated them. The Americans defeated them because they kept the army alive and kept moving and didn't try to hold on to things they couldn't hold on to. Well, that was Johnston's strategy. He was willing to give up Vicksburg. He's willing to give up Atlanta, keep the army in the field, because that's what was Sherman said. Every time that he would confront Johnston, Johnston would move. He would be gone. And Grant said that this constant movement was draining the North. So that would have been a winning, but the South had a problem, as Pollard says in his book, Lost Cause of the about the Civil War. He says the South lost for want of a president because of Jefferson Davis's mismanagement. So we'll talk about that later, some other time. But I hope that if you watch this video, you'll click like and let me know what you think.